I'm going to show you how to make a Plinko board. It's pretty easy to do in my opinion, relatively cheap at around 30 bucks, and the tools that you need are minimal. To give you an idea of the type of tools that you might need, the most important thing is going to be probably a jigsaw or a skill saw. I was able to use a skill saw, so that wasn't too bad. And you can get all your stuff at your local hardware store. So let me show you sort of how it's done. So I've kind of labeled everything out for you here on how what the measurements I used. You don't have to use the same measurements as me, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. The very first thing, obviously, is pegboard. Those are the measurements I used: 32¼ inch wide by 34½ inch long. Now for the sides, to make sure that the ball, I'm going to use a ball, I'm not going to use like the actual Plinko chip, it doesn't kind of bounce out the sides. I used a piece of 90-degree angle, it's usually used for molding in a house and stuff like that, and I just kind of rested it on the sides there, and that's what's going to stop the ball from going down the sides. As we move our way down, there is a piece of 30⅛ by 3½ by 7/8 wood. It's just a blank piece of wood at the bottom, and that's going to, the pegboard's going to come right up against it, and that's what the ball's going to fall into, and you can put whatever you want in the slots there if you're doing a company game, or in my case, hopefully a drinking game. You can just do that. And as well, all those little triangles that you saw on that board right there was just a piece of fiberboard. I just used a 3½ inch square, so that way it's the same size as what the actual piece of wood is. And what I did was I notched out the wood. So the wood was notched because usually the width of a saw blade is 1/8 inch. Therefore, you can put the piece of fiberboard in there as well, and that kind of holds it in there while you're waiting for it to set with wood glue. One thing that you'll probably notice is that the fiberboard is probably just a little bit thicker than what your saw blade is, so you won't be able to get it right in there. So I just used a file, and with the file I just kind of like filed down the sides there and was able to just let it set in. Finally, the most important part of any piece of Plinko is the dowels. The dowels are 1/4 inch, and I made them at about 2 inches long, so that's what the ball is going to bounce down. So the next step for me will end up being the paint, and I'm just going to use a basic red and white and go with that. If you want to be more creative, you can. So I'll show you where we're at the next stage. Okay, so there it is, the finished product of the Plinko board. Worked out really well, actually. The only thing that I had any trouble with at all was just along the sides here. Because there is no backing up the sides, it made it kind of difficult to keep that in place. So I mean, all I did was just put I put an object here and I put an object inside there, and that just worked out perfectly, and just let the glue set. The longest part about doing any of this stuff actually was waiting for all of the paint to dry. Other than that, it was an extremely easy job to do. Other than that, the only other thing I guess I should mention is that on the sides here, all I did was just use wood glue and just let it set, and the sides just held on super tight. As for the spacing of the pegs themselves, you'll see it's kind of alternating, 1, 1, 1. Then I skipped 2 lines, and then I went 1, 1, 1, obviously in the opposite direction. 2 on the side there, 1 in the middle, so that kind of makes for the interesting Plinko. So yeah, you can put prizes, or give 2 drinks, take 3 drinks, or truth, dare, whatever the heck you want to do in the bottom, and it'll work out perfectly. So let's give her a try. Now, I went and I didn't have any ping pong balls, so all I have are wiffle balls, and the wiffle ball worked out pretty well, actually. So let's have a look, see how she goes. And that's just pretty much basically how it works. Other than that, it worked out just great. I was exactly what I wanted. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, just post them to me, and I'll be happy to answer. Have a great day.